vision or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Brian, and for the next hour I'll be reading from the February 25th issue of the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. By Don Patterson and Pat Freeman. The Buffalo Golden Gloves Tournament 2026 once again kicked off one of the best sporting events in Western New York. This event was organized by New York State Golden Gloves director Don Patterson and features some of the best up-and-coming amateur boxing talent in the nation. The Golden Gloves has been the launch pad for notable boxers such as Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Oscar De La Hoya. The Riverworks complex reminds me of the classic boxing venue and gives the audience that authentic, sweet science arena where you can enjoy the great sport. Many of the local Western New York participants have gone on to the Nationals and beyond, but it all begins at the Golden Gloves, which offers them the opportunity. If you have never attended the Golden Gloves, please save the date of March 15th, 2026 for the second round of this annual classic boxing event. From the time you enter the arena, you hear the announcer Joe Major give that authentic boxing event feeling, introducing some of the best amateur boxing talent in upstate New York. These up-and-coming athletes also include lady participants who are really providing some of the most exciting contests on the card. Each year I try to make sure that my schedule is clear to attend this exciting sports classic of sweet science. Those of you that enjoy the sweet science, make sure you circle your calendar or go to the Buffalo Golden Gloves Boxing Facebook page to ensure you are attending this annual tournament right here in Western New York. Buffalo Common Council approves resolution to establish full property tax exemption for certain veterans. The Buffalo Common Council voted unanimously on Tuesday, February 17th, to approve a resolution that would provide a full property tax exemption to certain veterans who have a 100% permanent and total disability related to active military service. The resolution directs the city's Corporation Council to draft a local law opting into recently passed New York State legislation granting the tax exemption to disabled veterans who meet all four of the following criteria. 1. A 100% disability rating with a total and permanent designation from the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. 2. Have a total disability based on individually unemployability from the VA. 3. Qualify for the VA's Specially Adapted Housing Grant. Or 4. Have either an honorable discharge or a qualifying condition under New York State Veterans Services Law. With an other than dishonorable or bad conduct charge, qualifying conditions include post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, military sex trauma, discharged LGBT veteran. The resolution comes just months after Governor Kathy Hochul signed the legislation authorizing local governments to opt into the tax exemption for disabled veterans. Fillmore District Council member Mitch Nowakowski introduced the resolution, joined by co-sponsors Lovejoy District Council member Brian Bowman and University District Council member Rashid N.C. Wyatt, as a way to give back to service members who have suffered and sacrificed to defend our nation. Quote, as the son of a United States military veteran, I know firsthand that our veterans made extraordinary sacrifices in service to our country, said Councilmember Bowman. This local law ensures that Buffalo honors our most severely disabled veterans by providing real financial relief that recognizes both their service and the profound challenges they continue to face. For veterans who can no longer work and require specially adapted housing, property tax relief can make the difference between stability and hardship. I am proud to co-sponsor this resolution and stand alongside my colleagues in affirming that Buffalo will do everything in its power to support those who have given so much for our nation. It is our moral duty to provide whatever support we can for those who have served and sacrificed for our freedoms, said Councilmember Wyatt. By opting into this exemption for severely disabled veterans, we are demonstrating our commitment to our veterans and offering real relief to individuals in need. I'm proud to co-sponsor this resolution to help ensure disabled veterans remain in stable housing and to show these service members the respect and gratitude that they have earned. The matter will return for the Common Council after Corporation Council drafts the local law. Upon its final approval, council members will clarify when the exemptions take effect and outline the actions that qualifying veterans must take in order to take advantage of the tax exemption. The Life and Legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson. This comes from the Eye on History by Ava M. Doyle. I was saddened to hear of the passing of the legendary civil rights leader, Reverend Jesse Jackson. The world has been reacting to his death and has honored him for his influence on political and social issues both in this nation and around the world. Reverend Jesse Jackson ran for President of the United States twice in 1984 and 1988. He spoke in Buffalo on several occasions. I saw him at St. John Baptist Church when the late Reverend Bennett W. Smith was the pastor. He was an amazing speaker who could excite any crowd. He also spoke at other churches around the area. He also spoke at Kleinhand's Music Hall when he was campaigning for president. He had several uplifting quotes that inspired his audiences. Jesse Lewis Jackson was born in 1941 in Greenville, South Carolina, the son of Helen Burns and Noah Robinson. She was an unwed teenage mother. His grandmother and mother loved him and raised him to the best of their ability. His father refused to help him. He was one of the well-to-do black people in the area. However, Jesse Jackson found acceptance from his stepfather, Charles Jackson, who adopted him as his own son. Jesse became an athlete and scholar. He received a scholarship to study at the University of Illinois. He left because the coach refused to give him a chance to play quarterback, a position that he started in high school. He enrolled in the North Carolina Agriculture and Technical University in Greensboro, North Carolina, and he became quarterback of the football team as well as president of the student body. While at the university, he became involved in a number of protest movements against inequality. He ended up going to the theological seminary, and the rest is history. He emerged as a strong supporter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He created a number of civil rights organizations, including Operation Push, which stood for People United to Serve Humanity. It was dedicated to raising the economic standards of African Americans. He created the motto for people and youth, which he has known for all over the country: I am somebody. He was also famous for saying, "Keep hope alive." He became more involved in politics and ran for president in 1984 with a coalition of people from all races called the Rainbow Coalition. He faced charges of anti-Semitism because of his association with Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan and his reference to New York City as Haimi Town. He apologized for the remark and continued to unite people from all races. He became popular and coined the phrase, "Keep hope alive." He had many problems in his personal life, but he emerged as a leader who worked for all people, especially those who experienced inequality and injustice on all levels, which took the lessons he learned from working with Dr. King and the civil movements to countries around the world, visiting many places in South Africa, working against apartheid, and making close relationships with many African leaders. He brought many prisoners of war home and produced one of the largest turnouts of African American voters in any presidential election. Despite the challenges that he faced, Reverend Jesse Jackson was an inspiration to many people. He had a chapter of Push located on the corner of Jefferson and East Utica Street. I attended many of those meetings, and he was always serious about changing the lives of African Americans and poor people wherever he went. Today, Reverend Jesse Jackson remains one of our most significant civil leaders of all time. He will always be remembered as a man who kept hope alive in many ways as possible, even with his health issues, including suffering from Parkinson's disease. His run for president set the foundation for Barack Obama to become our first black president. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Visit Buffalo Today released the results of a comprehensive tourism market study with a key finding. A new full-service convention center hotel is vital for the region's continued growth as a host of meetings and conventions. The study, conducted by HVS, recommends that the community prioritize and open an upscale downtown hotel with at least 400 rooms near the Buffalo Convention Center. The report highlighted a clear need in Buffalo, according to the research by HVS, a leading hospitality consulting firm. While the city offers quality downtown hotel options, it lacks a, quote, headquarters-style property that can offer large room blocks and the full-service amenities needed to attract bigger conventions and events. This style of hotel would enhance the performance and competitiveness of the convention center, as well as better position Buffalo as a destination for meetings and conventions. Visit Buffalo will use the results to advocate for a headquarters hotel and share the study with local elected officials and developers as it demonstrates the viability of the project. Buffalo has the venues, attractions, and walkable downtown that planners want. What we lack is a hotel with enough rooms to accommodate big events, says Patrick Keller, President and CEO of Visit Buffalo. The study and its findings confirm what we have long known. In order to attract large-scale conventions and gatherings, Buffalo needs to have enough rooms at a single hotel that is an easy walk to the convention center. The report also shows that meetings, groups, and domestic demand are the drivers for a convention-focused hotel of this size. With the addition of 400 rooms, HVS projected that the broader downtown hotel market would have a stable average occupancy rate in the mid-60% range. From a tourism destination perspective, adding 400-room hotel to the downtown part is part of a long-term strategy, Keller said. Meetings and conventions attract year-round businesses, fill rooms midweek, and boost spending at restaurants, attractions, and small businesses. A headquarters would enhance the entire downtown ecosystem. The study concluded that the proposed hotel is a realistic, market-aligned project that would allow Buffalo to host larger conventions and events. By increasing the number of rooms there near the convention center, the hotel would bring economic benefits to downtown hotels, restaurants, attractions, and local business. Quote, as a hotel operator in downtown Buffalo, we see firsthand how opportunities are limited by the lack of large room blocks, said Thomas Long, Visit Buffalo board chair and general manager of the Westin Buffalo. A large convention hotel would help us by attracting new business. This would be a huge boost for the entire hotel community and for restaurants, retailers, and venues throughout downtown. Visit Buffalo is the destination marketing organization for Buffalo and Erie County, promoting the region for tourism, meetings, and sporting events. By showcasing the area's culture, attractions, and hospitality, Visit Buffalo drives visitor spending and supports economic growth. Baskin Rivera highlight economic benefits of expanding universal childcare in Erie County. Roundtable explores bringing $20 million state child care pilot to Erie County support working families. New York State Senator April N.M. Baskin and Assembly Member Jonathan D. Riviera convened an Erie County Child Care Economic Development Roundtable today, bringing together providers, advocates, business leaders, and policy experts to examine how expanding universal child care in Erie County can strengthen the local economy and support working families. The discussion centered on state's proposed universal child care plan and a new state-funded pilot program designed to expand child care access for children from the ages of 0 to 3, regardless of the family's income. While the state has committed $60 million for pilot programs in 3 counties, Erie County is not currently included. An omission Senator Baskin and Assemblymember Rivera say leaves a significant economic opportunity on the table. Currently, more than 5,400 children in Erie County receive subsidized child care through the Child Care Assistance Program, CCAP, according to the New York State Comptroller's Office. CCAP is for families who earn less than 85% of the state's median income, and it relies on federal funding. In Erie County, there is currently a wait list with around 300 applicants for the CCAP program. Erie County was offered the opportunity to join the pilot program, but county leaders chose not to participate because Erie County has a projected deficit of $23.1 million for the CCAP program this year. Child care is not just a family issue, says Senator Baskin. It is an economic development issue. I came to this conversation not just as a state senator, but as a working mom raising 2 children on a single income. For families like mine, child care is a critical lifeline. We know more than 5,400 children in Erie County rely on CCAP, and hundreds more are waiting. At the same time, the state is offering a $20 million pilot to expand care for children ages up to 3 regardless of income. We have to ask whether we can afford to leave that kind of investment on the table. Expanding access to childcare means more parents in the workforce, stronger small businesses, and a more competitive regional economy. Participants discussed how a $20 million state pilot investment could boost Erie County's economy whether or not the CCAP deficit prohibits Erie County from participating in the pilot, and the capacity of local child care providers to meet the increased demand under a universal child care pilot. The conversation also addressed the need for better coordination between state and county leadership to ensure Erie County is not excluded from new child care investments due to funding shortages. Assemblymember Riviera said, quote, "Today's roundtable talk made clear that expanding universal child care in Erie County is not just about supporting families, it's an actual economic development strategy. With more than 5,400 children receiving CCAP assistance, hundreds on a wait list, and many working families earning too much to qualify but still unable to afford care, the need is undeniable. Leaving Erie County out of the state's new pilot program leaves a major opportunity on the table. A $20 million investment here would stabilize providers, expand access for children up to 3, and help more parents fully participate in the workforce. If we are serious about strengthening our economy, Erie County must be included." Senator Baskin and Assemblymember Rivera emphasized that the roundtable is part of their efforts to build a regional coalition and advocate for changes in the upcoming state budget to ensure universal child care initiatives reach families outside New York City and that upstate children are not left behind. Senator Jeremy J. Zellner applauds $40 million in state support for City of Buffalo. Senator Jeremy Zellner issued the following statement in response to Governor Kathy Hochul's announcement of $40 million in state funding to help Buffalo address its structural budget gap and stabilize the city's finances. Quote, "Since being sworn in, my focus has been clear. Addressing the real challenges that face the 61st District. From affordability and public safety to growing a stronger and local economy. Among the most pressing issues is Buffalo's structural budget gap, and closing it responsibly while protecting taxpayers has been one of my top priorities. I commend Governor Hochul for recognizing the urgency of Buffalo's fiscal situation and stepping up with this $40 million investment. The funding represents meaningful progress and demonstrates what is possible when state and local leaders work together with focus and urgency. I also want to acknowledge Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peebles-Stokes for her continued leadership and steadfast commitment to protecting Buffalo residents while addressing these financial challenges. I remain committed to working alongside Mayor Sean Ryan and our local delegation to stabilize the city's finances, safeguard essential services, and ease the burden on working families. My team and I will continue advocating for the resources Buffalo needs, ensuring our community's priorities are heard in Albany. Balancing this year's budget must be done responsibly, with long-term fiscal discipline and sustainability in mind. As we move forward with the One House budget, I am determined to deliver real results for the residents and neighborhoods of the 61st District. Say I do to smart planning. New York State Consumer Protection shares wedding tips for newly engaged. Make savvy shopping choices and watch out for scammers when planning your big day. Secretary Mosley, quote, "While this is an exciting time, it often comes with significant expenses and important decisions that we can leave consumers vulnerable to scams. With Valentine's Day a popular day to propose, the New York Department of State's Division of Consumer Protection is providing tips to help recently engaged couples make informed choices and avoid scammers when planning their wedding. Weddings are beautiful occasions to celebrate marriage amongst loved ones. Coordinating vendors, paying deposits, handling legal documents, and managing busy schedules can make wedding planning an overwhelming process, and the emotional and financial pressures can make couples more vulnerable to fraud. Scammers are always looking for opportunities to steal money from consumers. Whether planning 20 or 200 guests, weddings are a big task, but consumers can follow important steps to avoid scams and make informed choices for their big day. With the post-Valentine's Day engagement boom, many newly engaged New Yorkers are beginning the wedding process to begin planning. Says Secretary of State Walter T. Mosley, while this is an exciting time, it often comes with significant expenses and important decisions that can leave consumers vulnerable to scams. By doing the research, reading contracts carefully, and staying alert to red flags, couples can protect their money and focus on celebrating their big day without the worry of being scammed. Avoiding wedding scams. Avoid too good to be true offers on social media. Social media is full of personalized advertisements. Many couples might start seeing ads for wedding-related products and services once engaged. However, fake accounts created by scammers may offer big discounts for products that are of poor quality or never arrive. Always research businesses outside of social media and read customer reviews before making purchases online. Avoid responding to unsolicited quotes or offers from vendors on social media. Beware of fake businesses or services. Scammers can pose as photographers, florists, wedding planners, and other vendors to steal consumers' money. They often create websites and online profiles with fake or stolen pictures, videos, and testimonials to mimic legitimate businesses. They may require hefty deposits or full payment up front, but then disappear after getting the money. Always vet businesses before sending money by doing your research, asking for references, and scheduling meetings to ask specific questions about their work. Avoid vendors without contracts. When you hire a vendor for your wedding day, you are entrusting the business to provide high-quality service for the big day. Reputable vendors will require a contract that includes the exact terms to which the vendor and consumer agree. This protects the business and the consumer by clearly setting defined expectations for the purchase. Always read these documents carefully. Ask questions before signing and keep all agreements and revisions in writing. Don't fall for phishing scams or, quote, free honeymoon raffles. Never respond to offers that claim a prize from a raffle you didn't enter. They are scams. Sometimes bridal expositions may host raffles for real honeymoon trips, but consumers should be aware that, quote, free vacations are often sales pitches for timeshares that require costly deposits, fees, and mandatory appointments. Watch out for high-pressure tactics and do not let yourself get pushed quickly into accepting an offer. See the division's alert on planning holiday travel for more information on travel scams. Be a savvy shopper and find ways to save. Don't buy what you don't need. Wedding vendors like venues, photographers, and caterers often provide multiple package options in varying price ranges. These packages may have features or services you may not need or want. When getting quotes from vendors, have conversations about whether there is flexibility in their packages. If you negotiate, some vendors may be able to remove features you don't want in exchange for a discount. Watch out for fees. Always ask vendors if Their quotes include fees, taxes, gratuities, and other applicable costs. These additional costs can add up and put you in an unexpectedly over budget. Some vendors do not include taxes or services fees in their quotes, but they should inform you of all costs and fees before you sign any contract or agree to do business with them. Get everything in writing. Make sure all quotes, agreements, contracts, and decisions you negotiate with stay in writing. Keep copies of all documents for your records. Using one email inbox dedicated to wedding planning can help you and your partner stay organized. Think flexibly. Booking your wedding date off-season or on a weekday may offer a substantial discount compared to more popular days and seasons. Also, consider non-traditional venues or other creative choices to stay within budget while saving for the aspects you and your partner care about the most. If you're looking for ideas for your wedding location, check out I Love New York's The Ultimate Guide to New York State Wedding Venues. It provides various luxury, unique, and affordable options throughout the state. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Service. State's Tuition Assistance Program not keeping up with tuition costs. 77,000 fewer undergraduate students receiving help compared to 2008. A new report from State Comptroller Thomas P. DiNapoli finds that New York's Tuition Assistance Program, or known as TAP, the state's primary needs-based grant program for college students, has not kept pace with inflation or rising tuition costs since the 2008/2009 academic year, and that undergraduate TAP recipients dropped by nearly 77,000, or 21%, with steep declines amongst two-year programs, 45%, private sector schools, 40%, and lowest income households at 38%. Quote, TAP has helped generations of New Yorkers attend college, but it's falling behind the realities of today's costs, DiNapoli said. Updating award criteria so that TAP continues to be a useful support for families is needed in helping New York retain talent and ensure students have the resources that they need to succeed. The decline in recipients since 2008 is partially related to the fall in high school graduates and the drop in post-secondary enrollments, but utilization of TAP was already dropping at a greater pace than for resident enrollment in many sectors before rebounding in 2024/25. Between the academic years of 2008/9 and 2024/25, the average award increased only 21% to $2,643, while inflation rose 44% during this time. Over the same period, State University of New York, SUNY, and City University of New York, CUNY, tuition grew more than 3 times faster. Only students from households earning $7,000 or less qualified for the maximum annual award of $5,665 in the academic year of 2025/2026, an income ceiling that has not changed for 30 years. Students receiving maximum awards in 2024/25 decreased 38% since 2008. Limited support for many recipients. TAP is a more meaningful service, a source of support for students at public institutions where tuition tends to be more affordable. For these students, average awards cover 36% to 42% of tuition depending on system and level of degree. The average TAP award for students attending private sector institutions covers just 6.5% of the average 4-year nonprofit school tuition. TAP may not be used for non-tuition costs, which can represent significant expenses. Expanding access. Recent state actions to expand eligibility for TAP have coincided with the highest number of recipients in the academic year 2024/25 since the academic year of 2019/20. New York has provided new assistance for certain students to pursue post-secondary education and retaining for career shifts, and has increased income limits for students to qualify for an award. Last year alone, there was a 20% increase in the number of total TAP recipients from the prior year. The gains across different groups demonstrate the impact of broadening access for part-time study and non-degree or certificate programs, along with expanding household incomes ceilings for eligibility. These actions support institutions of higher education that have been expanding their enrollments with historically underrepresented students, including those who are older and independent. DiNapoli said, updating criteria that determine sizes of TAP awards and consideration of TAP's use for non-tuition purposes are options policymakers can consider for providing support that New York students need to pursue post-secondary education, enabling them to realize economic benefits for themselves, their families, and the state. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Committee on Procurement and Contracts. From Albany. Senator Jeremy Zellner, representing New York's 61st State Senate District, has been appointed chair of the Senate Standing Committee on Procurement and Contracts by Senate leadership, placing him in a key oversight role responsible for how billions of taxpayer dollars are spent through state purchasing and contracting. The Procurement and Contracts Committee oversees legislation governing state procurement practices, contract transparency, and accountability in the use of public funds. As chair, Senator Zellner will lead efforts to strengthen oversight, improve transparency, and ensure that state procurement policies are fair, competitive, and fiscally responsible. New Yorkers expect their government to be transparent, accountable, and responsible with taxpayer dollars, says Senator Zellner. I am honored to serve as chair of the Procurement and Contracts Committee, and I look forward to advocating policies that protect taxpayers, support local businesses, and uphold the highest standard of integrity in state contracting. In addition to his committee leadership role, Senator Zellner will serve as a member of the following Senate standing committees: Banks, Commerce, Economic Development and Small Business, Housing, Construction and Community Development, Internet and Technology, Judiciary, Labor, and Libraries. These assignments reflect Senator Zellner's broad legislative priorities, including economic development, workforce protections, consumer safeguards, and the modernization of government operations. Senator Zellner was elected to represent the 61st Senate District following a special election and represents communities across Western New York. He brings a strong focus on accountability, economic opportunity, and effective governance to his work in the state Senate. Valuable income tax credits provide financial boost to New York families. The New York State Department of Taxation and Finance today urged taxpayers to review their eligibility for the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Empire State Child Benefit. Both credits provide financial boosts to hardworking families. The Earned Income Tax Credit and expanded Empire State Child Credit put money directly into the pockets of working taxpayers, said New York State Department of Taxation and Finance Acting Commissioner Amanda Hiller. I encourage all those eligible to take advantage of these valuable benefits that can be a financial lifeline for those struggling to make ends meet. Earned Tax Income Credit. The Earned Tax Income Credit is a refundable credit for working taxpayers who earn less than $68,675. This means the Earned Income Tax Credit is refundable credit for working taxpayers who earn less than this much. Every year, thousands of New Yorkers qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit for the first time because of changes to their financial situation, filing status, or personal life. For eligibility requirements, please see the Tax Department, New York State webpage. For federal qualifications, see the IRS Earned Income Tax Credit webpage. Expanded Empire State Child Credit. For tax year 2025, the Empire State Child Credit has been substantially enhanced. The maximum amount for the Empire State Child Credit for children under 4 increased from $330 to $1,000 per child. This refundable credit provides support to eligible families who file New York State income tax returns. You are eligible for this refundable credit if you are a full-year New York State resident and have at least one qualified child less than 17 years old on December 31st of the year that you are claiming the credit for. For more information on this credit, visit Empire State Child Credit. File a tax return to claim those credits. Taxpayers must file a personal income tax return to receive both credits, even if they don't owe any taxes. Most taxpayers who are eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Empire State Child Credit are likely also eligible to take advantage of the free e-filing options throughout the tax department. Options include free file. Depending on your income and other criteria, you may be eligible to use free file software to e-file your preparation of your federal and state income tax returns at no cost through the tax department website. Take advantage of this truly free service each year, saving hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars in tax preparation costs. Free file information is available in multiple languages on the tax department website, www.tax.ny.gov. Other filing options. If you don't qualify for free file, we have other options, including some other free ones that may work for you. See other e-file options for personal income tax to learn more. Need assistance? For taxpayers who qualify, the Tax Department Assistant Program, TAP, can help electronically prepare and file their federal and state income tax returns at no cost. During a scheduled session, the Tax Department representatives will guide taxpayers through free tax preparation software step by step as they complete their file on their tax return. Their Tax Department online tax software is a safe and easy way to file. It's quick and easy. Visit the Taxpayer Assistance Program to register for a session. To Napoli, bullying and drug-related incidents in schools on the rise. Serious, violent, and disruptive incidents dropped sharply after definitions changed. Many schools report zero incidents. A report by State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli found bullying and drug incidents statewide are on the rise, even exceeding pre-pandemic highs, while the rise for the number of violent and disruptive incidents remain near zero even after students return to in-school instruction and have stayed low. The report examined 7 years of data from the New York State Education Department's School Safety and Educational Climate Report. Quote, reliable public data about school safety is critical and informs where we need to address problems and identify solutions, DiNapoli said. This report builds on my office's previous work examining violent and disruptive incidents in our schools. It's disturbing to see the rise in bullying and drug-related incidents. We need to do everything we can to make sure our students and teachers feel safe, and this data shows there is more to do inside and outside our schools to meet these goals. In 2019, DiNapoli published a report analyzing the first year of data from SCEC's report, which was implemented in the school year 2017-2018 to combine violent and disruptive incident report data with Dignity for All Students Act into one report. Bullying and cyberbullying. Bullying is the most frequently reported SSEC incident category. In 2023/24, excluding cyberbullying, bullying made up 61.8% of all incidents reported. A total of 29,718 bullying incidents were reported, resulting in a rate of 12.4 incidences per 1,000 people. Excluding the 1,734 schools that reported no incidents of bullying, the rate increases to 18.2 incidences per 1,000 people, up from 10.2 in 2017/24. Reported bullying rates in New York City were on the rise before dropping sharply during the pandemic. After returning to full in-person learning, reported bullying incidents in the city rose rapidly from 10.5 incidences per 1,000 people in 2019/20 to 25.8 in 2023/24, coinciding with revisions in the regulations of Chancellor in 2021, which added examples of bullying and harassment and provided additional guidance on cyberbullying among other things. Rates of reported bullying in upstate schools remain consistently higher than those reported downstate, excluding New York City, though both regions experienced a gradual decline between 2017 and 2021. Both saw similar increases after the return to in-person learning. When looking at bullying and cyberbullying in the year 2023-24, 34.9 of public schools, including charter schools, reported zero bullying or cyberbullying incidents. Nearly 1 in 5 public secondary schools, 17.8, and nearly half of all public elementary schools, 47.7, reported zero bullying or cyberbullying incidents, including charter schools. In the SSEC data, cyberbullying incident rates were very low. Many cyberbullying incidents may go unreported because they are difficult to detect and anonymous. In 23/24, 4,396 incidences of cyberbullying were reported statewide, amounting to an overall rate of 1.8 incidences per 1,000 pupils. Excluding the 3,104 schools that reported zero cyberbullying incidents, the rate increases to 4.4 per 1,000 pupils in schools where it was reported. Among schools that reported cyberbullying incidents, Those located upstate had the highest rate of cyberbullying prior to the pandemic, while New York City had the lowest. However, in 2020/21 was the report of cyberbullying rates in New York City rose above rates in other regions and remained higher until 2024. Drugs and alcohol. Drug and alcohol incident rates in secondary schools dropped between 2020 and 2021, likely due to the shift of remote learning during the period. When students returned to in-person learning in 2021/22, reported drug incidents rose above pre-pandemic levels. Incidents for secondary schools rose from 4.2 in 2017 to 6.5 in 2014. Drug-related incidents have more variation by region, with higher rates upstate than in New York City or downstate. In 2023/24, incidents were more than twice as high upstate, 9.8 per 1,000 students, as they were in New York City, 4.2 per 1,000 students. In downstate districts, excluding New York City, the rate was 6.2 per 1,000 students. From 2017 to 2024, alcohol incident rates in secondary schools hovered at or below 1 per 1,000 students in all ranges. Serious violent and disruptive incident rates plummet after definitions change. Prior to the pandemic, some of the most serious violent and disruptive incident categories, being assault, sexual offense, and weapons possession, experienced gradually declining rates from the years 2017 to 2020, although the rates for New York City schools were noticeably higher than for those outside the city. After the return to in-person for 2021/22, the incident rates remain much lower than in years before the pandemic. This coincides with the definition changes SED implemented for 2021-22. These new definitions for their serious incidents stipulate that the offender must be 10 years of age or older, the incident must meet the criteria for a felony as determined by school officials, and the incident must be referred to law enforcement. Cases of assault declined from 4.9 instances per 1,000 students in 2017 to 0.5 incidences in 2024. Similarly, sex offense cases fell from 1.6 to 0.1, and weapons possessed charges dropped from 3.1 to 0.9. Because the revised SSEC definitions include age as a criteria for reportability, DiNapoli's analysis of these categories includes only secondary schools, middle school, junior/senior high, and senior high schools. Lastly, many schools report zero violent and disruptive incidents. Analysis of the school years 2023 to 24 data shows that 41% of public elementary schools and 5.9% of public elementary schools, including charter schools, reported no incidences of any type. DiNapoli's report said stakeholders should keep in mind that a school reporting zero incidences through the SSEC may still have the records of individual disruptive and violent incidences that are stored locally. For example, incidences that resulted in disciplinary action would be retained even if the incident did not meet the threshold for SSEC reporting. Thank you very much. You have been listening to a reading of articles and features from the February issue of the Buffalo Criterion. We read the Buffalo Criterion every Friday at 7 p.m. The reader has been Brian. Thank you very much.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the New York Times. Following that at 9 o'clock is Buffalo Spree, and at 10 o'clock with episode number 4 of The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. Stay with us for these readings and more. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555.
This is Mark Grier, and for the next hour,